Hello creative souls, welcome to my studio. This weekend I went down to Cornwall where I took my travel art kit with me, and it was beautiful spring weather this weekend. So down in Cornwall I managed to get outside and do some plein air sketching and painting. I'm going to finish that at home this afternoon because back here it is very windy and rainy, so I'm going to finish off my sketch using some extra media, probably coloured pencils. I might use my Inktense and my Faber-Castell pit pens, and then stick around until the end because I've got some new pens and pencils to share with you as well. So today we were fortunate enough to have a beach day. So I'm just going to show you what I packed and what I took with me today, because I did manage to get a sketch down on the beach and do a painting, so I'll show you that as well. So I've got my usual trusty pencil case, and I literally just threw this in my rucksack before we came away this weekend from art group. So it's literally got everything in there that I took to art group on Friday. And so on the beach I used my Winsor & Newton field set, my travel brushes from SAA, I've got my collapsible Faber-Castell water cup, which is really handy, and my Seawhites sketchbook. And for Christmas my husband bought me a special beach chair that has a pack on the back that fits all of this in, and the beach chair can go on your back and you can carry it like a rucksack. So I'm going to share that with you as well. So here's my special beach chair. It's in its folded up position at the moment, but on the back we've got a pocket here, and so my special travel case can fit in here like so, and my travel cup and my Seawhites journal. And then down here we have another pocket, which I've only got one hand, so I don't know if I can get this open, and that's got like a cool pack there. And then when the chair's set up, you've got somewhere here to put your phone and a cold drink, and then here are the straps that you can put on your back and literally carry it on your back, and here's a cushion for your head as well. So that's my special beach chair. This was recommended on a video by Helen Cryer, and I love it so much, or should I say my husband loved it so much, that I think we're going to have to get a second one for him. lots and lots of life teeming in these rock pools today. There's sea anemones here. The tide's out. So they're literally like glistening jelly in the sun. Amazing. There's so much seaweed. Fish. Tiny little shrimp and baby lobster, I think. And there's Audrey rock pooling, her favourite pastime. Here's what I managed to complete on the beach. So this is where we went rock pooling this morning, and I managed to do initially a pencil drawing, and then I went over it with my micron pen, and I did an initial wash over that with watercolour using the watercolours from my field set, and then later on I'm going to go over the top probably with some coloured pencils. So I will film that when I get home, because I haven't got my equipment here with me today. But I just wanted to share with you what it looks like now, and then I'll share with you what it looks like after. If you've made it this far, then thank you. I'm now going to be swatching out my Derwent Inktense pencils. I've only got 3. And they are so intense that I wanted to get a few more, so I'm gradually building up my collection. So I'm going to do some swatching now. I hope you enjoyed seeing me rock pooling and drawing and painting on the beach. It really was a beautiful weekend, and Audrey just loves going in the rock pools, and she was in there for absolutely ages, which was great because it meant I could carry on and do my drawing and painting without a wet dog shaking sand all over me. So anyway, back to this. I already had 3 colours. I already had the spring green, the light olive and the Payne's grey. And I actually bought those in a little art shop in Lyme Regis. So I didn't really know what I was buying, to be honest. I just saw the colours and thought, oh yes, I could do with those. So from the SAA last week, I ordered this one, which is Asphalt. I think I've said that right. Then Iris Blue, because I've got some beautiful irises in the back garden, which I actually did manage to sit out there and draw and paint those last week. But it arrived, I don't know if you can see the nib, not the nib, the end of the pencil, but it's blunt, so it needs sharpening, but I will do that after I've swatched them. I have a Thistle, which is a lovely mauve colour. And I've got 2 thistles. I don't quite know why, but you know, you can never have enough. And a bark. So gradually adding to my collection. I'll probably get a couple every month maybe, and gradually build it up. So I'm just going to swatch these. Let's start with the darkest colours first, and I will work my way up to the lighter colours maybe. Let's go. There we go. Right, so all I'm going to do, the Derwent Inktense pencils are watercolour pencils, and so you can use them just as a normal pencil, which I have done, just to add texture and to enhance my drawing and sketches in my sketchbook. Or if you want to, you can add some water and use it like a watercolour. So once you put your water over the top, it gives a really rich colour. So although they're called Inktense, they're not actually ink, they are watercolour based. There you go. They're very exciting. Doesn't help my addiction to buying art supplies, I'm afraid. Just makes me want to collect them all. However, it's quite an expensive addiction to have. Could be worse. Okay, so that's the bark. I'm going to speed you up for the rest and come back to you and show you my new pens. you have it, my Derwent Inktense pencils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colours. When I thought I'd purchased 8, but I've got 2 thistles. I wonder what would happen if you were to layer one over the other. I'm just going to have a quick play. Let's just do that here and see what happens. I'm going to lay down some of the iris blue, and I'm going to put some thistle over the top just to see what happens, because this is how sometimes the best art is produced, just by playing, experimenting, having some fun. So iris blue with thistle on the top. Let's see what that does. So you can actually blend it in on the paper, and it sort of gives you an ultramarine. I'm sure if I was to keep going it would give you like a purple, but that to me looks like ultramarine. Wow, a lovely colour nonetheless. So that is thistle and iris blue. Oh, they are great fun. So I recently bought some Faber-Castell artist Pitt pens, jewel markers, and I initially bought just 6 colours, and these jewel markers have a brush tip at one end and then a finer tip at the other end, so they're good for laying down colour and then doing detail with the other end. And they're like watercolours, so you can wash over the top. I don't use them to their full potential. I still need to play and learn how to use them, but I thought I would gradually add to this collection. So I've bought 3 more colours, some brighter summery colours. These are slightly different because one end is like the brush tip. Hang on, let me get the right end. There we go. And then this one, is like a marker at the end. So I'm going to quickly just lay those down on some paper to show you the lovely bright colours. And I don't know when I'm going to use these. I bought them to use in my sketchbook, but I really need to teach myself how to use them properly. I'm sure there's many different ways. So there's the finished swatches. I started with the dark sepia on this paper. This is Frisk. And then I did a dried section and it didn't blend very well at all. The phthalo blue, the cobalt green and the dark chrome yellow, they all blended beautifully on the Frisk paper. I then tried to do another swatch using the dark sepia on a watercolour paper by Creative Peak, artist watercolour pad, and it didn't blend at all. So I think it really does depend on the paper that you're using. So this one is permanent olive green, and so I'm just going to put some colour down and just show you what I mean. So you have to go in quite quickly, but it's not blending out as much as it did on the Frisk paper. So let me get a piece of Frisk paper. So this is the Frisk paper. And these pens are lovely and juicy. That's the only way to describe them, really. And so this is what happens on the Frisk paper. You can blend really nicely, and it looks like you can take out pretty much any hard edges. So I wonder what it will be like in my sketchbook. So like I say, that's the permanent olive green. Let's try this is the earth green. So let's try it on this watercolour paper. I can see it's soaking in really quickly into this watercolour paper as well, so it's obviously really absorbent. Not a particularly expensive paper either. I think this one was just off of Amazon. This is really for my practice pieces, but as you can see, that almost, once you add water on it, granulates. It doesn't give a very nice effect at all. It soaks in really quickly. Let's try the Frisk one again. There we go. Colour in half the egg. Add some water. Yeah, and it's lifting and blending quite nicely. Let's try the Inktense blue. As you can see, it soaks into the watercolour paper really quickly. Applying lots of water. It's moving it around a little bit. And again on this one, just put a little bit of colour down here and see if it will spread into the rest of the shape. Yeah, it does. Oh, I may have lost you then. My battery's running low on my phone, so I'm going to have to plug in my phone and recharge before I finish my painting in my sketchbook. There we go. So I haven't swatched all the colours because my phone battery's about to die. So I'm going to charge up and come back and finish my sketchbook painting. So my phone is back up and charging. I went and had a break, put some bread mix into the bread maker. So I've got bread baking at the moment. So a lovely reward at the end of my art session. So the swatches I've done, I've used 4 of the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen dual markers. The difference between the Pitt pens and the Dura watercolour markers, is that one end has a smaller nib at 0.8 millimeters, which means that it's good for drawing and mark making. And the other one has got the brush pen at the end and a bullet point marker at the other end. So the Pitt pens, these ones, they are permanent and waterproof, so they can't be erased, but as you can see, they're lovely vibrant colours which are great for sketching and writing with one end, and at the other end you can block in the colour. They're semi-transparent, so you can layer over the top, but you can only go darker, you can't go lighter. You can't lift the colour off like you would with watercolour. I would probably recommend these on hot press paper, on a smoother paper, although they can be used on any kind of paper. I used cold press today, and it tends to soak into the paper. And as you can see, when I added water on this paper, which is the Creative Peak paper, it actually almost granulated. So I think depending on what paper you use makes a huge difference. And then I can't say this, I'm going to call it the Dura watercolour marker. One end is a brush end, the other end is a bullet point marker. They're both water-based with water-soluble ink. This can be used like a watercolour, and it does give good effects on watercolour paper. So overall, I'm quite impressed with these markers. They'd be great for travelling and to put in my travel kit and using in my sketchbook. So I'm going to crack on now. Let me just show you my sketching here that I did at the weekend. There we go. So you would have seen the view earlier on in the video. There were some little sailing boats on the horizon in the background. These are the rock pools. And so I'm just going to go over this now with some coloured pencils. Here's my finished piece. I used a few of the Derwent Inktense pencils and a couple of the Derwent drawing pencils, which I've swatched down the side. I used my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen dual marker in warm grey and my Faber-Castell Dura watercolour marker in Anthrene blue. Need more practice with these pens, I think. I really did enjoy using them and swatching them, and I think they will be brilliant in my travel kit. Anyway, let's get you in a bit closer. There we go.